Welcome to our Nerds at Lunch coverage of E3. We're doing the Sony conference that was last night that apparently blew the internet up. I gotta say, watching it now, it wasn't as good as everyone said it was, but it was interesting. What do you think about it, Steve?
I think the big thing was just that there was all the rumors out there about Final Fantasy VII, so everyone was
Yeah.
really anticipating it. And the very first thing that they did with the Last Guardian, like they kind of made it sound like that they were talking about Final Fantasy VII, and everyone was like, "Oh, here it is," and then it didn't happen. And then then when they did the world of Final Fantasy again,
Yeah, that
everyone
was a
braced for
troll.
it. It was just, I think that was part of the excitement, was that everyone was just like anticipating it. So I guess if you knew it happened, then you probably lose a little bit of it.
Yeah. So let's go through this. Let's see. It opened with a PS4 trailer showing all the games. Nothing fancy. Notably, there weren't too many first-party games. Sony's always had a problem with this. Then, they had that. I guess he was the CEO on. He talked for. Let's see, I wrote it down. Talked for about 3 minutes about their corporate nonsense. No one cares, man. He's showing us a next-gen experience that's never been seen before, and just get to the games. Okay. Then they showed Last Guardian, and it's eco basically, but the princess can knock over buildings. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't see what the big deal was with that one. I
I
know
don't
that it
either.
was in development for a long time, but
Yeah, 8 years and they still didn't give an actual date, just the year it's going to come out. I don't know. I'm not entirely sold on this developer. Shadow of Colossus apparently was really good, but I don't know. They do these art piece games and people flip out over them, but this didn't look like anything special. Taking Mark's job, I guess, today and trolling the internet. I don't know. I think for 8 years they could have shown a little more than what they did, but whatever.
yeah, I don't know. Cause I didn't play that Shadow Colossus, and I don't know. I just felt like it looked kind of boring. It looked like you have to keep calling that whatever it is over
Yeah, if you ever played
again.
Eco, it's basically the same thing you do in Eco. Um, you basically you clear out a room or whatever, and then you call the princess over. But they kind of switch the roles, and the little boy can't really do much, and the guardian, I guess, is the physical powerhouse. I just it doesn't really appeal to me that much.
Yeah, it's not really something I care much for, but I don't know. Maybe if they show more of the gameplay or something,
No,
I
I
don't
think that's pretty indicative of what we're gonna
know.
see. They don't do. They're not much for varied gameplay. It's all about environmental based puzzles and things like that. So I don't recommend this. Wait till it's $10 because it will be. And then let's see. Moving on to a game I do want to play, Horizon Zero Dawn. Dumb subtitle, but it looks like I don't know, like a mix of stealth elements and Monster Hunter. But you kill,
Oh, I was
yeah,
trying to remember which one that was again. That
yeah,
was the one with that like post-apocalyptic world, right?
yeah, with the robot dinosaurs, and then Xerneas came in at the end. Robot Xerneas.
Yeah, that looks pretty neat. I
Yeah.
just don't really get. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but why they're robot dinosaurs and giraffe-looking
If
things?
I were to take a guess, the reason our society fell probably has something to do with the machine life form that can evolve and adapt. Because I mean, you look at some of these, and they clearly have guns and weapons, but they've evolved into different roles.
Yeah, I guess
So
it's probably yeah.
they probably just killed it or destroyed our cities and became like a dominant life form or something. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
It looks like combat is like intense, which I like. I didn't like that storm is coming nonsense, but oh well. From what little they showed, I would buy a PS4 for this. But
I mean, I'm like kind of, I don't know, the ridiculous, super into all the Japanese stuff. So,
yeah.
I mean, maybe I might play it eventually, but I mean,
Well, this
that's
guy
not
is
enough
sweet.
to
It's made
buy
by a
some.
Swedish developer, Steve. That's almost that guy could not speak English. He was trying so hard. Ah, one more boring game from the West, and then we'll move on to something you like. Let's see, Hitman. It's Hitman. Who cares? It has PS4 exclusive DLC and a beta test. This is something they could have just showed on the show floor. Hitman isn't really that popular anymore, I don't think.
I remember seeing the games. I've never played them, but I didn't even
They're
know if they were popular or not.
they're very complicated. They're basically infiltrator games. You go in and try to fulfill a mission goal. And even though they say you can go in guns blazing, it's better if you don't. It's one of those type of games. Uh, I've never liked them. This one doesn't look any better. So let's move on to Street Fighter V with new fighters Birdie and Cammy. Now, Cammy looks a lot like, and this might confuse people, she looks a lot like an older character called Cammy. So, I don't know why they called her a new fighter. Is Birdie from another game?
I'm not really sure. I was assuming maybe since they had Cammy, but I don't.
I thought for a second he was going to be Rufus from 4. It looks like he might be another American, though. He's got that crazy biker look going. Or he might be British, actually. Uh,
I forgot how long it's been since the last one actually came out. Since they always
yeah.
do the like all the additional versions and stuff, so
Yeah.
it made me feel like it wasn't that long ago, but I guess it was.
It was about 6 years ago, I'd say. We had Marvel versus Capcom in the meantime, so that helped.
I've always liked fighting games, but I never had anyone to play them with, so it's been hard for me to like keep up with them all the time. So
We were
it's
really
kind of
in
boring to play by myself.
we were really into Street Fighter 4 when it came out, but then Crossco got an arcade stick. And we couldn't compete with his button mashing. So he sort of dropped off.
But
But,
Smash Brothers is the only thing I've been able to play with people since it's
yeah.
simple enough.
Well, this one doesn't look too bad. It has a beta, so if I have a PS4 when it's out, maybe I'll give that a shot. I don't know why they need a beta for a fighting game, but then let's see. Next up is No Man's Sky. I don't know what to make of this. Just if he isn't BSing and you can actually go to all those different points of light, that is impressive.
I find it hard to believe that the different planets could be that diverse, though. If, there's that many of them, they can only probably have so much difference to them.
They're probably using like the Resident Evil zombie generator. You know how they had a bunch of set parts,
And just
and
kind of,
you would
yeah,
find like a male zombie wearing the same shirt, but he'd have a different head and arms. I think they'll have like a set number of animals, and different parts will spawn for different animals or different skins will load onto them. But yeah,
I
I
still
don't.
feel like they'd have to have a ton because, I mean, he made it sound like each point of light was a sun and then they had planets.
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna cheat. Some won't have life, or you won't be able to visit specific points. I don't know. I'm I'm gonna have to see more of this. I mean, you're right. Unless it's all hosted on Sony's end, which would make sense, and you're just paying for access to the server, in which case it could be that huge. But I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
They didn't say anything about a beta, which is weird because this is one of the games where you'd think they'd have one. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know. I know when they showed it, was it last E3? I think they showed it initially, and I
Yeah.
remember being kind of interested then too. So I mean,
Yeah, it
yeah, I guess
sounded
people
cool
were saying.
then. I didn't think it was going to be this, like, this scale is immense. It looks like they'll host explorer achievements. So, like, if you're the first person on a world, you get money for that. And, like, I guess you get your name on a board or something on the main title screen. So that's pretty cool. Then, let's see. Next up, this is from the makers of Little Big Planet and whatnot. It's called Dreams. It's a content creator, I guess. I don't. Uh. The tools seem kind of rudimentary. Some of the stuff they showed, there's no way you could draw that with a controller.
Yeah, that last part at the end when they were showing all those different things, kind of.
Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you can definitely create this futuristic world. My ass. And then you animate with a marionette. I'm like, why? Well, we'll see
I
if
don't
that.
know.
Uh, Maybe they'll have a demo of that at some point. It sounds cool, like you walk around. They didn't mention your avatar or anything. It seems like you walk through like a bunch of these states or whatever, and it'll change your perspective and whatnot depending on what they are.
I mean, I guess it's kind of more like one of those artsy kind of things. Though. I mean,
Yeah.
you kind of have to be into that because I feel like there's not gonna be much to do other than create and view everybody else's stuff. So
Yeah, well, that's pretty much what Little Big Planet ended up as too. They can make really cool creation tools, but they have no idea how to make a fun video game. Because Little Big Planet was not fun to play; it was just fun to build stuff. That was its big flaw. Then next up, Firewatch. I don't know what this is. It's a first person something. They said it was a comedy, but it doesn't look like it's a comedy from the trailer.
I can't even remember what that one was.
I guess you play as a ranger, one of those fire rangers that lives in a tower and keeps an eye out for forest fires. And somebody,
Maybe that was when I had to get up for a minute. Maybe that was when that
yeah.
was.
It looked interesting. It looks more like a murder mystery though. Like there's miles of wilderness. Somebody cuts the phone line so you don't have any access to the outside world, and two girls are missing. So I don't know where they get that it's a comedy because that's what it's listed. I looked on a couple websites for summaries just to make sure, and yeah, they said the humorous game Firewatch. I'm like, what the heck? It might have some light moments. We'll see. Uh, Destiny DLC was up next. I don't play Destiny,
Yeah, I
so
mean, I never played it either.
the Taken King. Sorry, ladies. I don't know. It looks neat. I just don't care about Destiny. Then they announced Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Um, I don't know a lot about this one. I guess if you pick Evie Fry, she plays like a traditional assassin, and her brother plays more like a Grand Theft Auto protagonist. So you can play as either of them for any kind of mission, and it changes how it plays, but not the outcome, I guess.
I've always kind of wanted to try those games. I just never. I mean, I actually even own the first one, and then I never
The first
sat
one's
down and
probably
played
the
it.
worst one to start with because it's really rough. Uh, the second one with Ezio, his storyline is really good. And he's a nice character, but they split his games up. It's such a rough. If you can find the cutscenes all lumped together into a movie, that's what I would do because Ezio has a good story. The games aren't bad, but they sort of drag him out a little bit because the last two games aren't really even about him. They're about their weird squad combat system. This one will have PS4 exclusive missions. I don't some based on a murder mystery book or something. Um, I'm sure those will stay exclusive long. Next up, Final Fantasy fan service. I mean, World of Final Fantasy. That's. I don't quite understand what this is.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't really. I'm sure they'll probably talk about it more today at the Square Enix channel.
Yeah,
But
it's
I mean, it
weird.
looked kind of amusing. But I mean, I'd have to know more about what exactly you do. I
Like,
do like that it's for Vita also, so I could just get it for that without buying a PS4.
yeah.
But I mean, I'm obviously gonna have to buy a PS4 eventually if I want to play Final Fantasy VII.
Well, you've got like 5 years, easily, at least three. I don't think that's done yet. The mechanics for this seem interesting. Like, if you're super deformed, you might be faster, and if you make your monsters unsuper deformed, you can ride on them, which I guess protects you, and they're slower but stronger. And then your player characters can also change back and forth, but I don't. Well, they did in the trailer, but they didn't in the actual game, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on it. It doesn't look like it's a traditional RPG either. And they made a big point of Cloud, so I hope other good characters are in it. Like Cecil, I'm just saying, you know, or Kane, or well, that's the only other one I played. So those are the only characters I know. Rose. Then the big thing, Final Fantasy VII HD.
So, I mean, I don't know. According to the rumors, they say that it's for the 20th anniversary. So, I mean, if that is the case, then I would expect 2017, but
Yeah,
I guess who knows?
they they kind of got forced into making this. Everyone I've talked to has said, "Oh, they can't afford to make this game." I'm like, they couldn't afford not to.
I mean, I know that there was a lot I was reading before where Square was saying that until they make another Final Fantasy that kind of like top seven, that they didn't want to remake it. But
It was a
I don't
cost
know.
issue. They were never actually, because they were never going to make one that topped seven in the eyes of its fans.
Yeah, I don't think so. See, honestly, for me too, though, I mean, I like Final Fantasy VII as a whole as my favorite, but the game itself, Final Fantasy VII, I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of like 8 and 10 better, but I mean, I guess like I said, with that as a whole, with Advent Children,
Yeah.
Crisis Core, and Dirge of Cerberus all combined into it, I mean, I feel like if they're remaking 7 now, it's gonna probably
Oh, they're going to remake
at
all those
the top.
games.
So.
Because they're going to get the most money out of those assets as possible.
Because I definitely I feel like that was like the only part of the Seven universe that was lacking was the actual Final Fantasy VII game. So I'm sure they'll add a lot more to it.
I have a very complicated relationship with Seven because I played it on PC,
Oh,
and it was not a good PC port. So I would get like maybe 20 minutes in, and then it would freeze at really important story points, and this was before Save Anywhere, so I would usually lose a lot of progress. It was maddening. But I mean, of the ones I've played, I like nine. I would go
oh yeah, 9 is
four,
definitely.
yeah, 4, 9, 3. I played a little bit of six when I was a kid, but I didn't finish it. Um, 4, 9, 3. Yeah, those are the only ones I played besides seven. But nine, and 4 are probably tied for my favorite. But 4 has the best remakes of any games in the series, if you ask me. So that's the one to beat.
9 definitely was one that when it came out, I started playing it and I just got bored with it, and I didn't really like the characters and stuff. That I just felt like it was kind of more kiddie
It
than what I was.
has the worst magic system.
But I definitely, once I went around, like later on, I did this whole crazy. I played Final Fantasy 1 through 10, and I kind of stopped there and never kept going. But
They didn't miss
because I
much.
did a whole marathon, and I ended up being really surprised by, like, once I kind of sat through 9, how by the end, it was definitely one of my higher ranking ones.
Yeah, 9 gets a lot of flack because, like I said, the magic system is all screwed up and you have to level up your attacks with weapons and stuff. It's a little confusing until you get the hang of it, but it gets what Final Fantasy is supposed to be, I think, better than most of the post Super NES ones do. Like, you like all the characters, they're fun. Even the knight, who was kind of a jerk, was really cool. Steiner, I think?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was it.
Steiner and Vivi. I like them. Also, the main character was a Saiyan. What are you gonna... You can't top that. I think the super deformed look turned people off. They said since it was probably the last Final Fantasy game that wasn't going to be online, little did they know. Um, they wanted to try to make it an homage to the old ones. I would expect 9 might get a remake at some point. 8 kind of gets overlooked too, but if they're going to do 7, they'll eventually move on to 8 and 9.
Well, they skipped 5 and 6 to go straight to 7 there.
They have PSP ports.
Oh, they did? I
Yeah,
didn't know
they ported all the old ones to PSP.
I know I saw 1 through 4 with, like, the whole special, with the after years thing, and so I just didn't know they ever did 5 and 6.
They did remakes of 1, 2, and 3. 3 was on the DS. 4 got a Game Boy Advanced special edition, which was neat because it had extra story dungeons. And then it got a DS version, which took out all that cool stuff and added this weird versus mode, which is odd because everyone has the same party at the end of the game.
And I saw eventually they moved 3 and 4 also to the PSP, and they did like a kind of looked more like classic style.
Yeah, the ones on Vita are just ports with enhanced features. Like they're like the 3 on the DS has a story. The 3 in the PSP version is just a straight port from the NES. So it's a little weird. But this is the first HD classic Final Fantasy, so we'll see what they do with it. But like I said, I expect you'll see a Dirge of Cerberus, and maybe they'll do an Advent Children game too.
Yeah, I was almost wondering if they would try something like that.
They'll have all the assets, and they're like I said, this is going to cost them a ton unless they really streamline the game. So expect a lot of Final Fantasy VII stuff once this actually comes out. Then next up, they announced a bundle of indie games. I haven't heard of any of these. Ronin, Aether, Mother Russia Bleeds, Crossing Souls. They didn't actually talk about any of them, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know anything either.
Next up, Shenmue 3. Hey, punk, give me some money. I don't. This was a really scummy thing for them to do. And it doesn't seem like Sega's involved. So Sony's like, yeah, we'll make Shenmue, but you gotta make sure they want it. So basically, they're extorting these poor abused Shenmue fans.
I was just watching because my one friend's a big fan, and he was like he was watching the Kickstarter right from the start, and it was like maybe about 2 or 3 minutes in, and they already had like 200,000,
Yeah.
and before the whole thing even ended, the whole Sony thing, then I think they were over 500,000. Then I woke up in the middle of the night and looked at my phone. I saw it was over the 2 million. So
So yeah, it's safe to say they're gonna hit most of their stretch goals, whatever they might be. I just think this was unnecessary because they knew it was gonna sell well. And being frank, Shenmue 2 cost something in the equivalent of like 150 million to make in today's money. So 2 million ain't really gonna cut it. So I mean, Sony clearly put up a lot of cash for it, and they just figured maybe they could bilk some people to get some pre-sale numbers. I'm sure we'll talk about this again as more news comes forth. This next one, let's just skip over. It's Batman Arkham Knight. Joker's back. I think Joker's back. I don't really care. I don't like the Arkham series.
I mean, I hear about it all the time. I've never played any of them.
They try so hard to be gritty and realistic, and then they break your immersion so hard with the most obvious video gamey stuff that it just can't go both ways, guys. I guess you can drive the Batmobile, so that's neat. I haven't played one since Arkham City. I probably won't pick this up, even though I am able to play it currently because it'll be out on 360 as well. And then they did some VR stuff. I honestly I kind of dozed off during this. So they announced a game called Morpheus, I think. I didn't really pay attention.
I mean, they didn't really show a whole lot for any of that.
Yeah, Microsoft clearly won in that regard. Then they moved on to something about Spotify. I tuned that out. Who cares?
Yeah.
The only interesting thing in this segment, they could have just put this at the beginning, and I don't think anyone would have cared. The PS View service.
Oh yeah.
I like that option to buy individual channels. Because, I mean, when I want cable, I can tell you flat out I only need like 5 cable channels.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely pretty nice. And then I'm assuming, I just got a Sony TV. I haven't really even messed around with any of it,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised if they have like that on the TV too, or or is that just a PS4 thing right now?
I think if you have a PS4, you can get it, but I would guarantee if you have a Sony TV, a Sony Smart TV, you'll be able to use it.
So I know it said on the box that it has that whole feature with the playing like PS3 games or something on the TV.
I don't know. They should start offering this outside of the console because they have original programming and stuff that you can't watch unless you own a PS4, and that's kind of a big investment for like TV shows. And I can buy a Roku box and for $40 and get all the major streaming services except Sony's. That's kind of a problem. So we'll see. Right now, I think it might be only on Sony devices, but I'm sure you'll get an email at some point since you have one of their TVs. We'll keep you. They didn't tell you what cable cable channels though, because really the only ones I would get were like BBC, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon, and maybe premium versions of those channels.
I don't even know how much I would even watch channels. I guess I think that's kind of the thing though, is that
Well, if the prices are reasonable.
Yeah, I think I just never really feel like it's worth paying for cable in general since I'm not going to watch it that much. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're given the choice of just a few channels, and that's not too bad, and maybe I might watch TV again.
I mean, I'll be frank. All the shows I like to watch on cable, I just buy on Google Play or Amazon. So I mean, right now I wait a day or two to watch most of them because that's how long it takes to get up. But I mean, if they were offering this for $5 a month and then Pay like $1.50 for each channel you want. That would be pretty cool. Okay, let's see. That was it for the non-game stuff, and then they went right back into it. If Pat was here, he'd probably care. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It's Call of Duty. I think one more PS4 exclusive DLC map and beta. So, if you're not bored with Call of Duty yet, you're gonna be.
I guess I don't know. Have they had ones like that before, where it looked like it was like futuristic or
Oh,
something?
they've been moving slowly into the future with each one.
Oh,
Like, and one of these had like a little drone in the story mode that you could send ahead, and it would do things like shoot a grenade or shoot a shaft to block electronics transmissions. So this one probably takes place in like 2079 or something, so they can justify all sorts of weird crap. Combat bow. They've given up on actual realism.
so this feels like it's starting to get more into like Halo and that type of thing now.
Almost. Like, they have some sort of limit on what they can do. Like, they talk to weapons manufacturers and, like, would this be a realistic prototype? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they go from there. I don't think many soldiers are going to use a combat bow, but we'll find out. Then I wrote... this doesn't make sense. Then I wrote Until Dawn. I don't recall what this was.
Yeah, I don't know, it doesn't sound familiar to me, but then again, I don't know. I'm sure only certain things really stuck out to me during
Yeah. I'm sure somebody will yell at us if it was important.
it.
Disney Infinity 3.0.
That guy was way too excited about that.
Yeah.
The way he was talking.
Because it's basically Sony exclusive at this point. I think they got the Marvel characters as an exclusive update as well. I'm not 100% sure. Let's see. It's Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. They're opening with episodes. I don't know why they're doing the prequels first, but whatever. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
I don't know, maybe they're just trying to do it in order for kids to understand. Because he kept going on about, like, for the whole family and introducing your kids and stuff.
Yeah, but no one starts with episode 1. No right-thinking person.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand this, but just I like how at the very end he like waited for the last minute and was like talking about the additional like Boba Fett figure and I like all these people getting all excited. I don't understand what's so great about him. He
People
doesn't really
like Boba Fett, but if I had to guess, there was a Boba Fett toy that was never made, and maybe that figure is based on it. I don't know.
I just know there's tons of people that are like just a big fan of the character for some reason.
Oh,
And
well, it's just because he looks cool. And
I mean, that's pretty much it then.
yeah, that's all.
Because I just remember in the
Well,
movie he didn't do much and then he gets eaten or something and that was
yeah.
it.
Well, bear in mind, if you're like 8 and you see this guy following Han and Leia, and he has this weird helmet you've never seen anything like before, I mean, I can see why. I didn't see Star Wars until I was like 13 or 14. So, I mean, I thought he looked cool, but I saw Jedi first. So I'm like, oh, he's kind of a punk. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was very popular for some reason. Even Lucas didn't know why.
I don't remember when I first saw the original 3, but I know it was because I was always going to Disney World and I would go on the Star Tours ride, but I
Yeah.
didn't even know what it was, and I was like, I should probably watch these movies.
Yeah, our generation probably has a weirder relationship with Star Wars. So the people who really like Boba Fett are like in their 40s now. And it had something to do with a toy order form or something. Like, There was a Boba Fett with a missile launcher that was advertised and never released. That became some sort of urban legend, and that sort of, I guess, built on him until he became a really popular thing. But I don't know. I do know he's playable in Star Wars Battlefront, which, if you've played one Battlefront, you've literally played them all because they repeat missions. They just look prettier each time. Then, I made a Futurama joke for this last one. Uncharted 4. He's like, here's a game that needs no introduction. I'm like, Fry, get up there. And then it didn't start for like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Even in the version that I
funny.
was watching the pre-recorded one, so I thought they'd cut that. But I had to fast forward.
Because yeah, and then not only did it not start forever, but then like after it started,
Yeah,
then
the controller
standing
didn't sync or something. He was just standing there.
and then the whole thing started all over again.
I was like, oh, seriously? Cut that stuff out of your replay, Sony. Come on. I don't get why Uncharted's that popular. It's just, I don't know. Naughty Dog has such a crazy personality, but I don't know. I don't get the Uncharted games; they're not for me. But if you like it, there it is. And I think that wraps it up. I would say compared to Microsoft, Sony had I wouldn't say it was a strong show. They had just had some really good bullet points in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, like you were saying with that whole like Morpheus stuff and all that, I mean,
Yeah.
they definitely didn't do as well as Microsoft did with all their, like the two different whatever they were called.
HoloLens and Oculus Rift. They didn't even spend time on Oculus Rift, to be honest, because they don't care. HoloLens is their proprietary thing. They want that to catch on. And I mean, I'll be honest. I can see myself owning a HoloLens because that's some useful stuff. Like you can put a little green square on your wall, and that's a Skype window. That's neat.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't. I think it's kind of neat, but I don't see it as a reason for me to buy the console.
Well, no, HoloLens is independent of the
Oh, it
Xbox
is?
One. Yeah, it's a Microsoft device. It'll work
Oh,
with.
is that?
Yeah,
I remember there was something they showed that came with the controller. Was it that one?
no, that was Oculus Rift. That's the
Oh,
big
okay.
old headset.
So is this one that you just talk to it?
HoloLens looks more like a scouter. It has Kinect technology in it, so
Okay,
it can
it is.
recognize your hands and stuff. So it's basically the computers from Iron Man, is what
I
I've been
know it.
telling
I know they
people.
said it was running Windows 10.
Yeah, the OS isn't that advanced, but they took the hand recognition from Kinect, so it knows what you're trying to do. It has a better voice recognition feature. Um, compared to what Sony was showing, I don't want to wear a big goofy headset, but a little. Eventually, there'll be unobtrusive little things that you can wear over your glasses or something. But I would say Microsoft has the advantage right now. Especially that Minecraft thing was impressive. If
Yeah, I mean, I've never really gotten into that, but I mean, the what they showed you could do with it was
if they
kind of.
capitalize on that, there's so much they can do. But yeah, we'll see. And that's it for two two of the three publishers for this week. Uh, Nintendo is up next, and then Square tonight. This will be up hopefully in the next half hour after we're finished here, and then Nintendo will be up later tonight. YouTube is cooperating better with shorter videos, I guess. So I want to thank everyone for listening. We'll see you in about 3 hours for the Nintendo wrap up, and then tomorrow for Square, and if there was anything notable at EA or Ubisoft, we'll probably throw that in too. And everyone should be there tomorrow, except Pat. And then on Thursday, we'll all be together and we'll just talk about the show in general. So, thanks for listening, and we will see you later. Bye.